This is probably one of my favorite podcasts so far. It's very funny.
Yeah, kind of morphs into.
Oh, it's it's an anything cast. That's the best part. Are we good?
You are ready.
All right.
Hey, random note. Sorry to just cut you off real quick. We got another sale on the OTR Cast
Did we?
shop.
Was it you?
Yes, it was.
Wow! Congratulations to our 5th buyer.
It's for Erica.
Right.
And myself.
What'd you get her?
I got her the main logo OTR Cast shirt. Got the asphalt gray.
Nice.
And then got myself the swim trunks because
Nice.
it is swim season. So yeah, if you didn't, you heard Trevor. He's right there. Buy some OTR merch at otrcast.shop. It doesn't really help us, but you can look cool because we're basically footing the cost of you buying it. So
yeah,
but
made sure I bought 2 things just that way.
It helps with shipping a little bit. But no, today we've got a special episode. Before we get going, make sure you guys follow us everywhere.
Well, let me plug.
Okay, bring the mic close to your face when you do it.
Okay, so follow us on Instagram.
Why'd you get quieter when you started talking?
Sorry. Okay, follow us
Where's
on...
your camera?
I don't
She
have a
doesn't have
camera
one,
today.
right?
Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm done.
All right.
Okay, follow us on Instagram, OTR.pod. OTR Cast on YouTube.
Yep.
On everything else.
On everything,
Everything else.
Spotify, Apple,
Facebook.
anything that you listen to podcasts on.
And then the merch website. I know we already said it, but
The merch website is... Trevor, take it away.
otrcast.shop.
Wonderful. Well, today we've got a good episode. This could be a fun one because it's community driven. It's local. We've got Curtis Wilson with us.
I've really looked forward to this one.
Yeah. We've got a lineup these next, we've had a good, some weeks with just me and Trevor. And then when I put that post out on Facebook, we're booked till August now. So it's a pretty good, if you're here for the podcast, you got a lot of them coming up. And if you've watched the last few, you've seen some interesting stuff. Or the last one we did a power hour with Bo Fawcett. So, Trevor,
It was rough. I don't want to drink it. It's so rough.
Trevor, he threw up afterwards.
Right outside.
So I'm glad I didn't bring the bourbon tonight.
Yeah, he might not have dug in.
I would have
with it.
went way easier. I'll say that.
But Curtis runs the local Cambridge Cigar Club, and also you have Holy Smokes, I believe, that is your international club. I'll let you talk a little bit about that, who you are and what you do too.
Sure. Well, I moved to Cambridge in January, middle of January, right in the middle of the ice storm. So everybody was closed down. And before I moved here, I never even thought to consider looking at Cambridge to see if they had a cigar lounge or any places that sold cigars. So when I got here from Columbus, I discovered that I was in a cigar desert and realized that I needed to do something to continue my hobby. And not just cigar smoking, because I can do that at home on my deck, but it's the fellowship of smoking cigars.
Social aspect.
That is what I was missing. So in mid-February, we started the Cambridge Cigar Club on social media. We have our own social media.
Had a pretty big response to it too.
Yeah, within I think 2.5 months, we had 250 members on the.
And that's a private group too. It's not like go and like it, which is, so that's pretty good.
Yeah. So, they intentionally have to want to join.
Right.
Now we have some wives in there, guys that just want to keep an eye on them. But, that comes with the territory. But yeah, I was pleased. Obviously I knew there were guys around here that enjoyed cigars and, enjoyed that hobby just like I do. But, looking at the population of Cambridge and thinking that, we had 260 people, and I think we're over 275 now. That many people that had an interest in coming together around cigars, it was pretty amazing. Yeah. So I have that, and then I do coordinate a statewide, my region's the state of Ohio, the Holy Smokes Club, Ohio Valley, which is a international Christian cigar fellowship. Where we do much of the same thing. We get together around cigars and fellowship in different cigar lounges around Ohio, in my case. But I was telling you earlier, it's an international organization that launched out of Colorado Springs, and I know we have well over 5,000 people globally in that.
That's cool. And we're looking at actually getting as a club. I know you've been talking about possibly getting a lounge here in Cambridge. What kind of progress are we getting there, you know?
Yeah. Well, I've done a lot of shopping. I'll put it that way.
Right.
You know, it seems when I find one in my price range, you know, I have to put like $200,000 in the building. But that's, I mean, I knew that was the case. And but yeah, fortunately, we've had some success lately identifying some different locations. Everything from big warehouses to storefronts on wheeling. To a couple vacant gas stations, old service stations, which are always really cool to kind of bring back to life.
Yeah.
But you know, we're going to keep digging into that over the next couple months and seeing what's possible. Obviously, the fact that you're smoking inside eliminates a lot of the properties just because you can't be adjoining to another building or have people above you that, you know, the no smoking indoors law kind of prohibits that. So
right. Well, we can smoke indoors here.
Yeah.
And I know you brought us some cigars to.
Real quick, can I ask, how did you like get into this interest? Like, what brought you to cigars?
Yeah. Well, I still do. I say used to because of COVID. Used to. I travel a lot internationally for work, and so I was going to Honduras and the Dominican Republic quite a bit. And encountering people down there that live there full time, it's so much a part of the culture, especially in the Dominican Republic, that it was hard to go to dinner with a group of guys without smoking a cigar.
Yeah.
It just seemed to go hand in hand. So really, you know, sitting in Santiago in the Dominican Republic, you know, at 10 o'clock in the evening after dinner, having down there it would be rum, a good rum and a cigar out on a patio. You know, still a little hot, still a little humid. You just kind of sit there and think, this is what it was meant to be. This is what it was meant to feel like. And I personally, and I know a lot of people deal with this, especially in work, you really don't stop. You're working so much. Cigars really, for me, were that tool that helped me slow down.
Gotcha.
Whether it was once a week, couple times a week, that I know that I could sit down and for 2-3 hours, kind of just unwind and let all that pressure go, you know, from work.
Yeah.
So there wasn't many other things that would do that for me. So.
Yeah. And what brought you to Cambridge?
Yeah. Well, we actually, yeah, Cambridge. I mean, it's the destination city of Ohio, isn't it? It's where everybody wants to move.
Yeah, center I-70 and 77.
There you go, right at the crossroads of the Midwest.
I was going to make a joke about it, but I won't. I'll leave it alone.
Yeah, actually, my wife and I are both from southwestern PA, in the mountains in southwestern PA. If you know where Seven Springs is, that's where I grew up. So, you know, we wanted to kind of get out of the city and get out here and get a little land where we could be outside and kind of, I don't know if this is our retirement, but you know, we kind of wanted to slow down a little bit.
Gotcha.
And yeah, I think we're doing that. So, and Cambridge was still close enough to Columbus if we needed to get there.
It's close to it's close to stuff, right? Yeah. Like you're in the middle of a lot of things, right? So that is not a bad.
Yeah, and we're actually closer to my wife's parents in Pennsylvania, so that's always a plus at their age as well.
Yeah, and this road right out here goes all the way to Pittsburgh. Yeah, 22. Yeah, I did make that drive yesterday, and instead of the interstate, it just was like take 22, and I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. So I drove straight to Pittsburgh right from here. It was crazy. One road. Yeah. It's wild.
Yeah, and actually if you continue on 22 through Pittsburgh and out the other side.
Yeah, how far out does that go?
It goes clear, I know it goes to middle of Pennsylvania.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we actually, my wife and I actually got married right off of 22.
Gotcha.
In a small town called Blairsville.
Okay.
Right, again, east of Pittsburgh.
Huh. How long ago was that? Like how long have you guys been married? Definitely an answer.
She really doesn't. I don't know if she wants this public, but no, we were married in '89.
Gotcha.
Okay. So
yeah,
it's been a while.
That's good.
So,
and I know Trevor's really excited. What?
I've been excited.
So
ever since I found out we were smoking cigars on this episode, I was like, I'm gonna get there early. I'm gonna make sure I'm ready. Like,
so while we get these going, you want to tell us a little bit about what you gave us and what you got there?
Sure. Well, I know I gave Trevor the Man of War Ruination, which is probably the best-selling cigar for the Man of War lineup.
Okay.
And it's a medium-bodied cigar. I always like, if I don't know what somebody likes, or if I hear from you kind of the cigars that you've smoked in the past, it gives me an idea of maybe where your palate lies. So the Ruination, the first third of the cigar, you'll get a little bit, in my opinion, I always preface that, in my opinion, you'll get a little bit more of a spice kick to it, and then it'll start to mellow out in the middle part in the final third of the cigar. So you'll get a little bit more flavor in the middle of the cigar. It's a great cigar. We say for smoke. So the more smoke you have, typically the more flavor there is in the cigar. Okay. The oily the outer wrapper is, those sorts of things. So that's the Ruination. And you have the
Plasencia.
The Plasencia. So Plasencia, any one of their sticks you really can't go wrong with. Always highly rated cigar. This one, again, is a medium, probably medium to full-bodied.
Okay.
So it's a little bit stronger than the Ruination, but a full-flavored cigar is again, it's just there are certain cigar brands and certain cigar makers that you always trust the consistency of their construction. For me, that's what a lot of the cigars are about. I mean, I want a good flavored cigar, but how's it constructed? Does it hold up when you're smoking it? Does it burn evenly? Because you'll get a lot that'll have different burn, whether they tunnel or whether they, canoe, whatever that is. A lot of them are badly constructed.
Gotcha.
Both of these are great construction companies, I guess, for cigars. And then I am smoking what we would consider a boutique company cigar, which is called Providencia.
Okay.
Providencia, they have, they're moving to tobacco out of Nicaragua, but they're right now in Honduras. And this cigar is a limited edition only for a specific cigar lounge store in Texas called the Underground Cigar Shop. So they distribute all of their cigars through that store. And this is called the Hurricane, which is after Bill Murray. And Bill obviously smokes cigars. But also I believe the owner of that place has a resemblance to Bill Murray, so that's why they have a lot of Bill Murray stuff around the shop. But this is a Hurricane done by Providencia, another medium-bodied cigar. I'm a big fan of boutique cigar companies. It's kind of like, we always push small business, shop local. It's the same way with the cigar world. I love to try, all these cigars that these smaller companies are coming out with, because they're making great cigars. And they just need to.
They just don't have the marketing like how some of the bigger companies have.
Like a Fuentes or like a Drew Estates or some of the bigger companies like that they don't have to worry about. Well, they worry, but they don't have to really worry about how much money are we spending on marketing our cigars. We can ship them out to all stores all over the place. Where Providencia, like I said, is simply out of that one place in Texas.
Okay. Well, we'll let you get yours going.
Okay.
And then we'll just go down the line, I guess, because I didn't bring in a lighter.
Well, yeah, I'll share.
Extra lighter. So
that's what cigar smoking is all about, sharing anyway.
Right, sharing's caring.
One of the things you'll notice on this one, I don't know if you can see it.
It's got like a little knob on it.
It's a pigtail. They call it a pigtail. Okay. And again, it's just a way they finish the cigar. Instead of having just a smooth cap, it's a twisted pigtail on the end. Okay. So,
and now for people that aren't familiar, because you'll have people. What's the steps to starting a cigar? I know you got to cut it, you got to light it, but people might not know that. So
well, even cutting. Again, we were talking earlier about preferences.
Right.
Everybody has a different preference as far as the cut they put on the foot of the cigar. I prefer anything that's 50 and a 50 gauge.
Okay.
Which is the width or
girth,
diameter,
whatever.
I prefer anything a 50 or larger. So usually you see 50, 60.
Gotcha.
They even make some 70s to go with a V cut because it gives you a deeper cut, makes the draw, for me, a little bit easier.
Yeah.
And again, even that, everybody does a little different. So, you can see that puts a nice deep V cut into the cigar. Now, if you're smoking a 60, you can double this. You can do another cross and make it a cross
okay.
cut.
All right.
And then there are guys that actually do crown cuts, which are 3 of the V cuts.
Wow.
So
yeah, no, I've always been a V. I've liked V cuts.
Yeah.
That's actually the cutter I have. I don't know where it is, but
yeah, and even that, Caleb, is again so many preferences. This is a serrated edge instead of a straight edge. Yeah. So it grabs it a little bit more.
Gotcha.
It's a great cut, but I'll promote Lotus. I mean, Lotus made this. It's called the Jaws, and I think it was like $23.
Yeah.
And it lasts lifetime guarantee.
Okay.
So not if you lose it, but like I've tended to do. But
somehow break it.
Yeah. So I'll pass you guys on the cutters, the straight and or the V. So whichever one you want to use.
The straight's the only kind I've ever used. I've never used a V. I really want to use the V now that I saw him do one.
Now that you have a girlfriend, you
you got to step up.
You got to use the V.
Yeah.
And one of the things you'll notice with Trevor's is the shape of his cigar is a little bit different. So this is considered a box pressed.
Okay.
I personally love box press. That's why I typically have some in my little travel case. But a box press just gives you, again, another unique draw to your cigar. And for me, it's easy. It's an easier smoke than a normal cigar. And then they actually have, so the box presses are actually made in a mold. And most of your cigars are pressed in a mold, even the round ones.
I did the cross.
Like a double?
Yeah, I did the cross. Yeah.
You're getting fancy.
He did a V. I'm doing a cross.
You told him to step it up.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
So, and then they have a Spanish press, is where they actually put the round cigars in a box and press them in the box and close the lid, and that's how they store them and then ship them. And that's considered a Spanish press.
I know you talk about Honduras a lot, and it made me think about the only time I'd ever been there. It was on a cruise, but we're on the beach, and there was, those vendors or whatever you would want to call them, but they were basically just kids walking around with a bag full of really, really cheap cigars. And
you sure it was tobacco? I mean,
some of them had other stuff, but their cigars they were selling was, I think it was like $5 for a box of 4 of them.
Yeah.
And one of my buddies wanted to buy it that was with me, and I was like, don't get that. He said, why? And I said, it's going to be awful, god awful.
Yeah. And, in some cases I would agree. And in some cases, like I've had cigars, say from the Dominican Republic, that are hand rolled by somebody on the street, and they're great cigars. So much of it has to do with where they're getting the tobacco from, and that's the situation. And I think tobacco and cigar smoking for me is very much I would parallel it to wine or bourbon because they actually age the tobacco. A lot of people think they just cut the tobacco, let it hang till it's dry, and then they roll cigars with it. Well, some of the cigar companies, 6 years, 8 years, 12 years, that tobacco is drying in barns. They're turning it and, rotating it just like they would a bourbon barrel. And then if you go, like you were saying, you enjoy some of the bourbon infused cigars or flavored cigars, then they're storing them in a bourbon barrel in order to get that flavor for so long. So
we've actually put some in like a shot glass type thing and had it like covered up and everything just so that way we could get like a little more into it.
Yeah.
And I did that with one of the Buffalo Trace ones, and I could taste more of the Buffalo Trace than like the previous times I'd had them. And I liked it more, but I was also thinking like, man, this is a lot of preparation just to just to taste the bourbon.
You need to have enough cigars that you can put those cigars in that container and walk away from them for like 2 months and still have cigars to smoke. And then you come back and you're like, oh, wow, I forgot about those.
Right, and they're
I should
ready.
get those out.
I've never had that many cigars.
Yeah, I'll share something a little bit later that can change all of that for you.
Oh, so, what, you got a bunch?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, I did until Saturday. I gave a bunch.
He was giving.
I don't know where you were Saturday. I was giving all kinds of cigars away. Biker Fest.
Yeah, you missed out. You missed out.
But yeah, there's a lot of resources out there, especially online. We have a couple of retailers here in town that sell them, but again, very small quantities. You don't get the kind of selection. And And I always tell people that are getting into it and learning, especially want to kind of figure out where their palate is. There's so many opportunities online to get like sampler packs, different things like that you can, even if it's the same brand and you get one of each cigar that they make. So you can find something in there that appeals to you and relatively inexpensive.
And see, that's how like I am. I mean, I don't keep like a cache of cigars on me. I'm more just like I'm just around. I'm in the club.
Yeah.
But that's like, it's like the guy that just goes and drinks and he's like, just give me alcohol. That's me. I'm like, I don't care. I like to figure it out. But I do have like preferences I'm learning slowly. And I'm still chasing the Florida high that I had. I got to figure out what it was. It was delicious though. I'm a sweet guy. I like sweet cigars, I guess. Yeah. I don't know where that puts me, in the club, but and there's guys that like different styles and versions and
I tell people there's a lot of difference between flavored cigars and sweet cigars.
Yeah.
Because you have the whole Drew Estate acid lineup. Right,
and acids are good.
That are flavored. They're also sweet, but they're flavored. And then you have Drew Estate makes they have the Deadwood lineup that makes the Fat Bottom Betties, the Sweet Janes, the Crazy Alice, which you'll find in those. It's just a sweetness. It's not necessarily a flavor. They also make the Java Mints, the Java Red. So Drew Estate's really big into the flavored cigars, and there's a reason for that. The fastest growing demographic in cigar smoking is women. So yeah,
and I've noticed a lot of the guys that are posting pictures in the club are like, out on the porch with the wife, having a good relaxing time. I'm probably gonna need it back too.
I definitely know I didn't get it lit good enough.
Well, and that's one of the reasons why you toast it first. Get a good, just get a good
even char,
red hot, burn on the end, and then you light it. And then you
try to do it. It's just my skill's not very good. I haven't done it very long of like trying to toast it first. I watched an interview of I think it was like Arnold Schwarzenegger talking about how he gets like his ready.
Yeah.
At least when I don't remember when this video came out. But,
yeah, it's been around.
Yeah, he talked about it, and then he talked about like Jimmy Fallon or whoever it was that he was with, how he told him not to act weird at this lounge. And I guess Jimmy went and looked up like different ways you're supposed to prepare a cigar, and he was like, I heard about how you're supposed to moisten it up before you smoke it, and he said, so there he is over there like licking the cigar and like looking like he's spitting on it, and he said then he's coughing and choking because he's trying to inhale it the whole time. And
and I think Arnold had a video out, I can't remember if it was tequila or something too, where he was dipping his cigars in tequila and then smoking them, which I don't. To me, it would mess with the construction of the cigar.
Yeah,
I'd rather just take a drink of the tequila and then smoke.
Right.
But but Arnold's Arnold. He can
do what he wants.
Anything he wants.
To each their own.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think you would find that so many. I mean, for me, again, I mentioned about women smoking, the fastest demographic. So you see a lot of the cigar lines adapting their lineups to women. And producing milder cigars or producing flavored or sweet cigars. And then you have a whole group of people that you would never expect, athletes. I mean, if you watch the docuseries on Michael Jordan, I mean, the man smoked a cigar before every game.
Joe Burrow. I mean,
he smokes at least after the game.
Iconic Joe Burrow.
Yeah. So, I mean, Michael smoked a cigar before the game.
Really?
So how do you do that and still perform? But it's you see a lot of actors, you see a lot of bigger business people that enjoy cigars, which a lot of times it was, I want to look cool, I want to and now it's becoming more of the benefits of smoking cigars as far as what we talked about earlier, helping you slow down,
relaxation,
helping you enjoy, fellowshipping with other people that we've kind of gotten away from, I think.
Right. It's a lot more.
Or you're texting someone or whatever. We have very little face-to-face fellowship with someone for an hour, 2 hours. You know, we don't have time for that anymore.
Right.
So, and that's why we talked about actually opening a lounge, a physical club space lounge, you know, that people can come in.
And I think you would get some interest. I mean, obviously, but I think something that's where Cambridge lacks right now is the recreational. You know, there's just nothing recreational, nothing like an outlet. No, before the podcast we talked about axe throwing. We're doing an ice rink, things to do. You know, that aren't just work and going home.
Yeah.
So I think that's where Cambridge, if there were more recreational activities, I could see a really big, growth in the area.
Yeah. And I think one thing with the cigar club or the lounge, whatever we want to call it, we probably wouldn't even sell cigars in the beginning. You know, just do it on a membership model, just like a gym membership. You know, $99 for the year gives you access to the club. You know, we would definitely have lockers there for guys and ladies to store their cigars and their bottles there. And that would probably be $3.99 for the year.
Yeah.
But then that also gets you special, event access if we have events there.
Well, and that gets you, there's going to be probably poker and pool tables and all kinds of stuff in there to do. So
yeah, and I mean, my goal, I love retro, I love old school. So in my head, I'm thinking, Dean Martin, I'm thinking Frank Sinatra, those guys, the Rat Pack type feel, old Las Vegas, old Chicago.
Have you watched, you watch any like TV, you watch Netflix and you watch Peaky Blinders?
I knew you were about to say Peaky Blinders before.
Peaky Blinders.
Don't ruin it. I'm only on episode 2 of season 6.
You never watched? Oh, okay.
Of season 6. It's
just
okay.
Yeah.
And they have hand-rolled cigars.
Yeah.
Like Churchill and all those guys, they're just sitting there. It's what a time.
Well, and that's the thing. What a lot of people don't even know. Every one of these that we're smoking now is hand rolled.
Okay.
These are hand rolled premium cigars. None of these are machine made. A person sitting in Honduras and Nicaragua, Santiago, and the DR rolled this cigar by hand. And a couple of years, 2 years ago, I think now, the FDA tried to hold the premium cigar industry in the U.S. to the same standard as cigarettes.
Okay.
As far as consistency in quality, those sorts of things. And fortunately, it didn't pass. But because you could never guarantee consistency from one cigar to another, because each one is handmade.
Yeah.
The amount of tobacco may be off, a fraction of an ounce. But according to the FDA restrictions, you would have had to throw that cigar away. So right now, the cigar companies, they actually can even sell their seconds. So the ones that don't even meet their quality standards as far as, is it the right length? Is it the right weight? Those sorts of things. They can sell as a, what do we want to call it? It's a faux pas. It's not made right or something.
Yeah.
That they can sell it at a reduced cost, somewhere.
I got you.
So,
this might be like a myth. I don't know. But when's the proper time to like dust your, do the...
You don't.
Okay. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I thought it was like, as long as you can.
Once, if you feel it's going to fall off, and guys get nervous when it gets down to like here, But again, this comes back to construction. I'm
going to have to get on some people if you're watching.
Yeah.
I did that once. I had it down to here. They're like, you're stupid. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if
yeah, I mean, you'll notice your better constructed cigars will hold an ash a lot better than your poorly constructed ones. And the other thing, and this is just ethics, in a cigar lounge, you never tap out your cigar at the end.
Oh, okay.
You just lay it in the ashtray.
Huh. I didn't know that either.
I'm not sure why. Somebody out there knows why. But
maybe it's
guess
like harder to clean off the, I don't know.
But it just is one of those things. I remember when I first started, somebody looked at me kind of funny.
Huh.
Now, there actually was a cigar lounge that was in Zanesville for a little while.
Really?
Yeah, and they closed down. I don't remember hearing like the real reason for why they closed down. I heard like bits and pieces of rumors, but I don't even remember what those were.
Well, you can come to a gathering and talk to Josh. He's in the club.
The main guy that ran it?
That
used to own it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'd probably talk to him in person if it's the guy I'm thinking of. Because one of the guys that, like, Josh, what is it?
Binkley, I believe it is. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in the Masons with us, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I know him pretty well, actually.
So there's another one that just opened.
In Zanesville?
In Zanesville, called Royal. And I think it's Royal Tobacco something, because he's also selling a lot of vape stuff and
Gotcha.
just bulk tobacco, different things. And he's going to have a lounge in there. He's still renovating the property. It's up on Maple.
Gotcha.
I forget the address, but great humidor. He has a lot of great cigars. He has another lounge in Lancaster. So he gets a lot of the higher end stuff that you don't see, like the Opus, the different Opus cigars, the lineup. And that's something else we can talk about too, price of cigars. I mean, you know, everybody...
$16, $17, $18 a cigar for some of them, and then can go even higher or go way lower.
I mean, personally, I live between $8 and $15. I mean, that's my cigar range if I'm buying at a lounge. Usually, there's plenty of stuff in that range that I like. Now, are there other cigars that cost way more than that? So, I mean, that Ruination, you probably get in a lounge anywhere between $10 and $13, depending on where you are. The Plasencia is probably a little bit pricier. It's probably $15, $16, so or between $14, $16.
Yeah.
And these are $9.99, I think, something.
Now,
you know?
something I just noticed, because I just drank a little bit of Mich Ultra. When you pair your cigar with a bourbon or drink, I think it changes the taste of the drink to, to a little bit. And I think, like this one, I think pairs really, it's just a Mich Ultra. I'm not drinking like a bourbon or a rum or something, but I think it makes it taste a little better than just going straight just alcohol. And it keeps me from drinking too much too, Yeah.
So, so I'm not a beer drinker, so I wouldn't be able to share about beer. With bourbon, whiskey, any of your spirits, I'll say, typically the milder the cigar, the lower proof spirit, whether it's bourbon or whiskey, you're going to pair it with. Now there's a whole nother level to that, flavor wise, that you can get into in pairing. And again, I'm not that far into it. My palate's not that developed to where I know that yet.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm not a big bourbon drinker to the point where I'm trying different bourbons all the time. So I don't know a lot about them. I have my favorites, kind of stick to those. I even, in the evening, if I'm like ending the evening after dinner out on my deck with a cigar, usually it's a sweeter cigar. And I'll drink, I don't know if you ever heard of Screwball.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll drink a Screwball with it,
Yeah.
Now, Screwball's, I'll have one glass and that's enough. Then it's too much sweet,
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's perfect.
Peanut butter. And,
It's good, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really good.
It's,
I mixed it with, I think it was Pepsi. It was either Pepsi or Coke. I can't remember which one it was. But they called it a peanut butter cup.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it tasted good.
Well,
like, it really tasted good.
And a lot of people will pair it with like a Concord grape wine and make it a PB&J.
I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
I've never thought about mixing wines and
Yeah.
like a bourbon or something. I'm going to have to try that sometime.
Maybe Britt can get one. You want one of those?
What?
So, like, what's some of your like favorite kind of bourbons or whiskeys, though?
Yeah, I definitely fall in a more flavorful bourbon. Unlike cigars, where I'm much more on the peppery spice end. But with bourbons, Rabbit Hole's been my favorite lately. The rye from Rabbit Hole. I get Dad's Hat, which you don't find around here because it's a PA.
So I've never had a Dad's Hat.
It's a PA. They're a small distillery, so it's pretty good. Their rye is pretty good. Any of your bigger brands, I think, like a Woodford Reserve, Buffalo Trace. To me, you can't go wrong with anything in their lineup.
Yep.
You could just get a regular old Buffalo Trace off the shelf, and you're doing well with that. E.H. Taylor, of course, Blanton's. Everybody. If you would talk to bourbon aficionados,
I've heard Blanton's is just about the same as like, what was it? Was it Buffalo Trace or was it?
So Buffalo Trace makes Blanton's.
Okay, then that's what it was that I was hearing because I was told it tasted like the exact same like that.
Yeah.
But it's put in a, I don't know, higher category, like it just because it costs more.
Yeah.
'Cause it has a different name to
Fancy
it.
bottle.
Yeah.
You know, you got to pay for that little horse on top. You know?
Have you seen the little like I don't know, like mantelpiece thing that they make for Blanton's that has all the different kinds of it on there, or a different like leg of the race for the horse.
Yeah.
So like the horse is in a different position in each cap.
Yeah.
Depending on what bottle it is.
And that's a collector thing.
Yeah.
You know, people need to get every one of those, you know.
Right.
And then they have different versions of Blanton's too. I mean, they have, single barrel, I think. I mean, they just have all kind of Blanton's. Just like they have all kind of Buffalo Trace or all kind of Jack Daniels, whatever. But, I mean, Buffalo Trace, I believe, makes, of course, Buffalo Trace, Blanton's, E.H. Taylor, Pappy Van Winkle. What else do they make? I know I'm missing.
Wheatley's.
Weller's.
Yeah,
They
Weller's.
make Weller's, which is really popular. The Special Reserve, everybody seems to like the green label, the Special Reserve. The Antique, I think, is a little bit better, harder to find, a little bit more expensive. But
I can't say I've ever had the Antique.
I don't think we get it in town much.
Oh, okay.
And that's another thing with Cambridge. You mean our store?
The store.
I mean,
The one and only.
we don't move enough product to get the higher. That's why, I mean, you will rarely see a Bland's there.
Right.
You'll rarely see a Taylor there. You'll rarely see those things that.
If they ever do have them, they already have them sold to somebody
Before
that they already wrote in
shop.
their notebook that's in the back room.
And you'll see and technically they're not allowed to do that anymore. Because I used to get calls when I lived in Columbus. I made friends with the people that ran the liquor stores, like in Kroger's in Westerville. And they would call me like at 7 a.m. saying, "Hey, we got this in on the truck today." And they don't let them do that anymore.
Right.
So you basically have to be in line. You find out when they get their deliveries, and you're in line before the store.
That's how
opens
Peach Crown is here.
I was going to say, I had a friend that used to work at one of those stores. I won't name which one. But she would text me like after they got their shipment in, and she'd be like, "Hey, I got X amount of bottles of Crown Peach. Do you want any?" And
Does she have red hair?
Accidentally leave that box in the back.
I'm not going to confirm nor deny that.
Yeah. It's like, we'll stock that one last.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get that. And she's like, okay, well, I'll just buy it, and then you just come like pay me for it. And I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, for me, the rabbit hole's been really good, but we've seen prices go up with everything.
Yeah,
I mean,
everything.
Especially on the alcohol, prices have gone. I mean, you've seen a 20% jump, I think, in the last couple of years. Just
about everything, really, right now. They said in production, you're looking at 15% a year, like just in raw material, and they're like, just be ready for it. It's going to be about 15%. You're like, what? Yeah.
Well, we'll have to start home brewing again.
Yeah. We put a distillery in the
there
Harper Hutchinson building.
Yeah. Not sure who mentioned that, but.
I don't know. But no, I mean, it's definitely an interesting, yes.
I was just going to jump in. How long have you been into cigars? How long has this been a hobby of yours?
For me, probably 6 going on 7 years now.
All right.
So not that long. And that's why I said, I don't know how long it takes for someone to develop their palate to where they can really detect. So if you get like a Cigar Aficionados magazine, I won't point out any specifically, but if you want to learn about cigars, there's tons of cigar podcasts out there.
Mm-hmm. And you were on one, weren't you?
Yeah. And there's Hot Ticket is probably the biggest one.
Okay.
And then BS and Bourbon, the guys that run the Tinderbox at Easton.
Yeah.
They do one too. So they'll do more of the pairings. Like they'll always have a bourbon or whiskey that they're pairing with cigars there too.
If y'all ever listen to this show, you can have me on anytime.
Yeah.
Come out.
You guys can come on.
You can come on here, and we'll go over there. It doesn't matter.
But yeah, I mean, there's always stuff going on. Whether you're learning about particular, construction of a cigar. Or some people just talk about lighters or cutters or shapes of cigars. Others focus on getting celebrities on their show. Others focus on getting cigar industry people on their shows, like a Rocky Patel or, other people that own cigar companies. Some, again, are a little bit wilder than others.
Right. Well, this one's calmed down a lot. I'll tell you that.
What?
This
Our
podcast?
I don't know.
Last one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, let's just look at the last episode.
It has its moments.
Near the end there.
Yeah. No. So if this is your first time watching, I'm sure we'll have some Cigar Club members tuning in. If you go back and watch some earlier episodes, you're gonna learn a lot about me and Trevor.
Yep.
And we're I'm talking like episode 20.
Yeah.
Through like 28.
This is like night and day compared to like how we used to act. I'm not joking. It hasn't been a crazy long time, but
there's been a change the last couple of weeks I've noticed.
I think our first episode, I drank like 8 or 9 beers during that episode, and
we ate cream cheese.
He ate cream cheese out of nowhere, just a block, nothing with it, just cream cheese.
Shout out Josh, Tom played.
Yeah.
Well, you'll find that, so just like cigars, there's a lot of bourbon podcasts too. So
Whiskey
you'll find
ginger.
that as the show goes on.
Oh yeah, it gets either more entertaining. Yeah, right.
So, yeah.
Well, if you want to, episode 50. That was 50 for us.
Yeah,
this is
episode
51.
Go watch episode 50 if you want to watch a show that gets better as it goes on.
Yeah.
We did a power hour with Bo, and that's where you take not a whole shot, but like a shot of beer every minute on the minute. So there's a song playing, and then it changes. You got to take a shot. So
we got through 10 beers during that power hour.
you got through 10 beers.
Okay, sorry, I got through 10 beers during that power hour.
I was about 7, and Trevor.
I finished at I think 11 beers.
Yeah.
And then I said, I'm not opening up another one because I'm already too drunk now. And then I walked outside and puked.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's the great thing about cigars too. Is there's nothing impairing.
Right. There's nothing.
About a cigar.
I'm not going to feel bad about
I can still
myself.
go out and get in my car and drive home and not have to worry about.
If anything's going to make you drive better from that little bit of like nicotine.
rush.
Yeah, makes you a little bit more alert. Maybe.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
I'm not going to say it's like a crazy amount, but maybe just.
I never
just
used that excuse, but
right.
I could
now you got
figure out a way. Hey, I need to have one more just so I'm coherent.
I need to just make sure in case there's a deer. You need to.
Hold on, honey. Let me smoke through this one last cigar, and then I'll be driving home. I just want to make sure I'm driving safe.
Yeah.
One more cigar and one more bourbon. You're like, what?
Yeah.
The cigar balances out the bourbon, so you're not even getting drunk anymore. You're just coming right back to balanced.
Yeah.
This is not health advice.
No, it's not.
We should have had that health
and safety warning.
Disclaimer.
Yeah.
We're not doctors by any means.
No.
Yeah. Those under 21, please turn off the show now. Right?
But that's So that's been the biggest thing with our podcast has been just the evolution of it and finding our niche, which our niche is we'd like to be broad. When we started it, kind of the goal was to be bigger than just Cambridge. Bring in anybody and everyone, whoever wants to come on, and we still do that. But lately, we bring in a lot of local community people. Yeah. Just to build a more personal audience around here. And we get some listeners. I mean, I've had just random people, like, I'll be out at the bar, like, hey, you have a podcast, don't you? I'm like, yeah. Like, that's really... And so it's funny, because you look at the numbers, you're like, hey, we're not getting that many views. You're like, like 50 to 100, right? And then some episodes have, like, 1,400.
Episode 50.
Right. Episode 50 is probably...
Episode 50, I think, is at like 81 views. Me and Britt were looking at it, and then we looked back at...
My episode got lots of views.
Has almost 900, and I said, man, we really got to get some more girls on this show.
Right. They love the girls on this.
Apparently, every time we have a female on, it's like 1K view, 2K.
but it's enough, like to be like, no, like people listen,
even if it's just the one time, like they still kind of associate it.
And that's why we're just trying to put them out and keep them consistent. That's why we have the studio. We do everything in here and keep it the same, because you get to about 100 episodes and we get to that point, and that's when you get to start finding people that are just clicking on one and they're like, oh, that was entertaining. They'll watch like a lot of them. And so then it steamrolls, and then after they watched 7 or 8, they're like, oh, when's the next one come out? So it's getting to that point, but we're still fairly new. We started this probably, it would have been
September, I thought, or
30 weeks technically.
Yeah.
I mean, almost a year. We're getting closer, because it was 30 episodes we've done here. So
I think we've had like one or 2 weeks where like we missed and didn't do a show at all. Yeah. And then we had some where we did 2 shows.
Right.
And I think we're kind of going through that same process with the Cigar Club too. We've done gatherings, as I call them, gatherings or events, different places. We've had them at people's homes.
Right.
I think we have one coming up June 30th.
Yeah.
At the Guernsey Brew House. We're doing a private tour there before
They're not
the opening.
Open. Yeah, that's what I thought.
And then we're gonna get some tastings before anybody else does.
And I want to get out there. I was supposed to go out.
Yeah.
Earlier this month, and I didn't make it. I didn't make it out there, so
that's coming up. It's finding that balance of what, and I think the thing you discover is one event doesn't appeal to everybody. It could be sitting on the patio at the country club after playing golf, or it could be the Guernsey Brew House, or it could be on the back patio of the Elks Lounge.
And you got a big event coming up too in August.
Yeah.
Right. And I know we want to talk a little bit about that. So. And that's August 13th, and that's Bourbon and Cigar Night.
Correct.
At Pritchard.
Yep.
Trevor, you're going to want to get your ticket.
I was getting ready to grab my phone here just to...
because the last time I checked, they only had like 30 left.
Okay. And you had how many total to sell?
So we're only selling 100.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
And that's a good amount.
Yeah, we kind of wanted to limit the number. I think we could have sold a lot more than that, but we want to kind of control the event and make sure we do it well this year.
See how it goes.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, because if you mess it up, you don't want to
Is that through the Cigar Club? A lot of people
know about it,
Well, right. Yeah, yes.
It is through the Cigar
Club. I'm going to
invite
you to that group on Facebook.
Say I'm not in the Cigar Club. Dad is. Yeah. he like hounded me for like, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks, because he heard about Johnny and Caleb both talk about how they were in it. And then he said, how can I get in the Cigar Club? And I asked Johnny about it, and he's like, I'll send him an invite.
Just invite him.
And he sent him an invite finally. Like Johnny kept forgetting over and over again. So that's just, it's just Johnny. And so then Dad gets invited into it, and I haven't asked him any more about it. I think he said he heard about a cigar in the club, and that's what caused him to buy like the Churchills he has now, like the longer ones. Which that's what he's told me they're called.
Yeah, Churchill is basically the size and shape of a cigar.
Yeah.
And of course, it's named after Winston Churchill.
Yeah.
The length of it. So typically they're a 6 to 7 inch cigar lengthwise. The diameter can range, I think, in those, but it's pretty standard. If you watch, the movie, that's all he smoked in the movie, even though he smoked other cigars. Like the rest of us.
Right.
But that one became known
kind of standard for him. Yeah. And so there'll be door prizes.
Right. So August 13th at Pritchard Laughlin Civic Center, for those not in Cambridge.
Right.
And it is from 7 to 10. So it's a 3-hour event. I have a feeling we'll probably hang around after 10 o'clock. We'll maybe
Trevor
do a VIP late night or something.
Trevor's a
they know
grandpa.
I go to bed at like 10 o'clock.
I go to bed at 10:30, so I'm done.
Like I'm usually already laying in bed by like 9:30, 9:45, and then
but you're up at 4 in the morning.
It hits 10, and I'm like,
yeah,
just asleep.
But so for your $50 ticket, you'll get 4 drink tickets, and we have a variety of different bourbons that are going to be there. 2 cigar tickets, which I already know what one of the cigars is. It's a Mark Twain Riverboat, which is actually a barber pole cigar. A lot of people. I wanted to bring something different in that a lot of people haven't smoked before. A barber pole is just simply 2 different wrappers. One's a Connecticut wrapper, which is typically a really light colored leaf, and then a Maduro wrapper, which is a dark leaf. So it looks like a barber pole. as it's wrapped around the cigar.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I again, knowing that a lot of people that may be coming aren't really into cigars or haven't been smoking cigars a long time.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to share some different things with them that, like the Mark Twain is super affordable. And I mean, you can buy them online. You don't see them too often in cigar lounges, but you can buy them online readily, easily. And the other one I'll probably get is a darker, more full-bodied cigar. I don't know what that one is yet. But and then we'll have raffle prizes. One of our raffle prizes is a Cuban basket. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be, I guess I would call it a variety pack of 10 cigars from Cuba.
Okay.
Just those 10 cigars, the value of those 10 cigars are $625.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, there's a Cohiba Bahique in there. That cigar itself is $125.
I don't know if I should smoke these cigars or sell them if I ever win it.
Hey, you have the audience around you.
Their investment. There we go. Paid $50,
Yeah.
600.
Yeah, so and then we'll probably put a higher end tequila and a higher end rum in that basket. And then
I
the
can't
other
see
two
those getting sold.
Yeah, the other two baskets.
You good?
Yes.
Well, you might as well be smoking one if you're going to cough.
Bad rip over there.
And then the other baskets will be, I'm trying to get a couple boxes of different cigars of the year. As far as cigar aficionados, cigar of the years, we'll probably go with E.P. Carrillo, made the Pledge, which was the most recent one. I think that was 2020 cigar of the year. Then they had the Encore, which was like 2017 cigar of the year, and then La Historia, which was a runner-up, a number 2 cigar. So we'll have 3 boxes of cigars in with a lineup of Old Forester bourbon, 4 Old Forester bourbon bottles. And then the other one will probably be an Aging Room Nicaraguan cigar. They got cigar of the year, along with some bourbons as well. Huh. So definitely worth the $50 just in the drinks and the 2 cigars you get. I know we're going to have food there, some appetizers there from Theo's.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And so you really can't go wrong with the price of the ticket.
No, I was going to say it's real affordable. I mean, you get 4 drinks and 2 cigars.
And great company.
And people to hang out with.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
That's the biggest thing. It's social. It's a social, right?
Yeah.
So.
And we have entertainment there.
Okay.
So I have a gentleman coming in. He's a magician.
Oh.
So he's going to do roving magic. Dave McCreary.
Oh, okay.
He actually was the magician on the Buckeye Cruise for cancer. And has done a bunch of other stuff, but he's also a cigar guy and a bourbon guy. So he's like, sure, I'll do it for you.
Right.
Maybe we can just trade. You don't have to pay me. You can just give me cigars and bourbon.
Yeah.
So, and then we have a podcaster coming down, Canton Bourbon Boys.
Okay.
So they're going to come down and do a one hour show on site that night. And I believe
that'd be cool.
They're going to actually give away a barrel pick bottle of bourbon during their show too. So actually, I think pretty sure they are.
Are they bringing all their equipment and stuff too?
Yep.
That'll be really cool.
As far as I know, they are.
Yeah.
And
We're going to have to check that out a little bit.
Yeah. What do you got over there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if I have someone local there shooting video for us for the
I don't know who could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need like a day hire or anything like that?
No.
He ain't got to pay me. It'd be
Some
Hey,
grip
you don't
help.
gotta pay.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She changed that tune real
Wow.
quick.
Yeah, you do.
Why am I so bright? Hold on. Keep talking.
It's
I'm
the
going to change
smoke.
my
All right.
camera. Oh, it's that sun coming right through the window.
Yeah.
Here comes the sun through the
I
window.
realized the sun was back out.
I'm being a really good triple co-host today. I've been asking some pretty good questions.
I'm
Yeah.
surprised you're talking.
Usually
you're not a talker.
And
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, are you one of those? You were talking about collectors earlier. Are you kind of like a
You one of
collector? Do
them?
you like?
I like to, for me, it's not necessarily about getting something rare or expensive. It's more of, I love to try stuff I haven't tried already from different places. There are still cigar, I guess I want to say blends that I haven't tried. You'll see ones like one of my favorite cigars is from this boutique company, Providencia.
Okay.
Called Detox, and they're a box pressed. It has a really nice, dark, oily San Andreas wrapper on it, and I just love it. And one day I was on the Underground Cigar Shop website, and I was, of course, going in to buy Providencia's stuff, and I'm like, hey, I haven't tried that one yet. I'll just throw a couple there in the cart, and try those. And now it's probably one of my top 3 cigars. And again, you would never know that, because you're not going to see any stories in Cigar Aficionado about them, or, no big advertisement or something. But still making a great cigar with great tobacco, lots of flavor, fun to smoke. Like I said, lots of smoke. That's one of the things you'll see with all their cigars. Lots and lots of smoke. So
yeah, and that's. I mean, I know we'll be there. I'm going to be taking some pictures and video. So,
but do call. Like we said, call the Pritchard.
We need to go get our tickets. I'll go with you.
Okay.
We got to go get them at Pritchard. So if you want to go, it's what you got to go to Pritchard Laughlin
or call them.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. I mean, I say we'll go because it's right over the hill.
I have to pass it to go home.
Right. Yeah. So we'll be able to go do that. Man, look, that sun's so bright.
I mean, it's look brighter than now.
I know, but it's brighter than my actual stage light that I have on me. That's crazy.
We need blackout curtains.
Yeah.
I've treated cigars kind of like how I've treated whiskey, of just like, I haven't tried that one, and it's like, it's not crazy expensive, it's not super cheap or anything. Like, even if it's cheap, I mean, I'm still going to try it. Like Bird Dog, I think, is like $19.99 for any of their bottles.
And that's, again, learning from other podcasts, like bourbon podcasts. Oftentimes they're reviewing a nicer bottle of something that's probably running $60, $70 a bottle. But because of the interactions online that's going on, people are asking questions and different things, that somebody say, well, what do you think about this? And, they'll say, oh, well, that's like the old Foresters. They're probably in that $40 range. A great bourbon, like we said about Screwball. I think, finding that what's your palate. The one thing different about cigars and bourbons, you have to buy a whole bottle of bourbon. You don't have to buy a whole box of cigars.
That's true, yeah.
Right.
Again, whether it's at a local, we say brick and mortar, or if you're buying online, you can buy singles. You can buy 5-packs. That's even what makes Cubans semi-affordable.
Right.
I mean, I can buy a single. I can buy a 5-pack. I can buy a 10-pack. I don't have to buy, a $1,200 box just to try it, So those are all available. I would just caution everybody, if they are buying Cubans online, maybe find a friend who's already ordered from that source, because there are a lot of fakes.
Yeah.
Even from what would appear to be reputable dealers or retailers online.
Yeah.
I mean, because all they got to do is figure out how to make a nice band that looks just like the other one. So.
Right. Huh.
I know the ones that we usually order through, I think it's like Cigars International, like the magazine, and that's usually what we got everything out of.
Cigar International, I believe, is the largest online retailer.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're big warehouses out of Eastern PA.
Oh, yeah.
But the one I should warn everybody about is called Cigar Bid. There are actually a couple different cigar auction websites. I've used Cigar Bid more than any, and on their site they have, I think it's 9 different types of auctions going on. They have your traditional auction that it starts here and goes up.
Right.
Whoever puts in the highest bid at the end of the clock, that's who wins. But then they have a free fall auction, which is my favorite. It starts at MSRP and goes down. And you got to watch it cycle through the auction a couple times, because they might have, say a box of those, just say a box, and they might have 20 boxes available for that auction.
Yeah.
So you just watch it cycle through a couple times and find out where that floor is, that they reset it, and then you just try to get close to that floor. So, and I caution because it can become addictive. And then all of a sudden you have, 400 cigars sitting in your house that you have no idea why you have 400
Wonder where
cigars.
you pulled that number out of.
Yeah. Yeah. I know some people that, yeah.
Oh.
And, but there were times that, I found myself setting my alarm for 2 a.m. in the morning, 3 a.m. in the morning.
Oh, man.
Because I knew that was the least amount of traffic on the website time.
Right.
So you have the least amount of competition in the auction. Careful, you're going to set your pants on fire.
Oh,
man.
Or the chair. It needs a hole in there. That way you can always remember this podcast.
And that's my chair too. the one day we switched chairs.
What? I
That's
thought you were
okay.
in the right chairs.
Oh, gosh.
Look at Trevor's butt. Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of man juices.
No, but I had a good question, and then you distracted me.
Sorry.
With
That's
his
okay.
big butt.
Yeah, with his big butt. So the club right now is basically Facebook.
Correct.
Right?
And we gather, so we organize events and gather at different places around Cambridge. Again, until we get a permanent site. And I can't see that happening. I mean, even if we would get into a place now, we're going to have to do some renovations, no matter where that is. I can't imagine it would happen before the end of the year. That doesn't mean we can't smoke in the building. All you need is some chairs, get some leather chairs.
Right.
And sit them around, and guys will smoke anywhere,
Yeah. And,
So-
well, that's what I was going to say, too, is for those that aren't on Facebook, maybe, and this could be something we can talk about, too, we could set up a website. We can do we can build like a member, and send out
Access
emails
type.
and everything.
Yeah.
And that's what we do that here. We can build websites and do all that stuff. So that might even be something cool that we could do, too, is set up a Cambridge Cigar Club website.
And a merch site.
Right. Well, we could, and those are actually, I almost got one of those, but that was so early. I was like, I don't know if I want one yet, but now I want one. And I'm like, But that was something I was saying, because we could do a membership where it's free or whatever, and just sign up and be a part of it. And then later on, as you get to that side where you're wanting to do monthly dues and everything, we could set that up too throughout the website.
Commerce side of it.
I just thought of a collab merch thing we could do.
Yeah. Trevor's background is a cigar and I'm assuming bourbon.
Yeah.
But
And that's the thing too. I think once we establish ourselves, and we have a regular crowd, I guess I want to say, because when I was in Columbus, my gatherings in Columbus were getting 30, 35 people pretty regular, and we're already getting 20, 25 here, for our gatherings.
Steak and Ale had a good amount of people show up.
And I think, especially there, because you can get food and drink.
Right.
All in the same place. You don't have to bring it in. You don't have to go anywhere and get it. It's kind of nice just being able to say, I want a beer. I want a sandwich or whatever. Frog legs there.
Yeah.
Nothing better go with cigars than frog
Some
legs.
frog legs at Steak and Ale?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Oh, then I'm going to have to get those next time.
They're not bad.
But yeah, we can have reps come in from cigar companies and have a special night. I mean, they love to give lighters away, ashtrays away, that kind of stuff. But they'll do like a buy 3 get 1 free or something. They have all kind of specials and stuff that they'll do for you. But again, we got to get to that point where I can say, hey, we're regularly getting 30, 35 people, so it makes sense for them to come, because they're not coming here for a retail place that's already selling their cigars.
Yeah.
So even the places that sell cigars here, like a Mr. G's or a Georgetown Winery has some.
Do they? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he actually just bought a new humidor. So he has a nice digitally controlled humidor there.
And Georgetown it's a sleeper. You
Yeah.
know, like it's there. We go there sometimes to eat, but it's a cool little spot up there.
It has
Yeah.
a beautiful view when you're out there. Like, oh my goodness. I've only been there, I think, 3 times. And
yeah.
every time I catch myself just kind of staring off in the distance, like zoning out to everybody else that's around me. Just,
And John's a cigar smoker himself.
Yeah.
And that's why he has them. I mean, that's
Wow.
why most places have them.
Yeah.
It's your hobby, and then you got to figure out how to pay for your hobby. And so, I mean, and he has a lot of Fuentes stuff there.
Okay.
Where Mr. G's carries mostly Drew Estate stuff. I carry some Rocky Patel and different things, but they have different cigars. And regularly, they're $2, $3, $4 cheaper than Columbus at both those places.
Shoot.
So if you're happy with something they're selling, I always say go there because that's what's going to keep cigars here in town.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but we've talked about, there's a lot of subscription services online that you can join, clubs, like the Luxury Cigar Club, not to plug them for any particular reason. But you can buy different monthly subscriptions depending on how much you want to spend. Sometimes you get the same amount of cigars, just different levels of cost.
Gotcha.
You know, really nice cigars might cost you. I know guys that do $250, $300 a month cigar clubs. And then I know guys that do $50 a month cigar clubs.
Sign me up for a 20 or like a 10.
So we talked about doing that with the club as well. You know, when we get a space and we have lockers.
Yeah.
You know, if a guy wants to bump up his membership just a little bit, and we'll do that cigar club, and we can just load his locker with those 5 cigars every month, and you know he knows those are coming. So we can always get cigars in without selling cigars to the general public.
Right.
So that's not an issue. And again, I don't know if I want to sell cigars. We'll see. You never know where it goes. So
right. Yeah.
You got to get members first. You know, paying members
building
first.
up. Yeah. To that point.
And then you know then you got to think, how are you getting that walk-in crowd that just wants to come in and buy a cigar and leave? You know, obviously we would probably sell $5 day passes or something like that if somebody's in town, you know,
right,
and wants to just stop by and smoke. You know, that's there too.
Yeah,
I think cigars.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there.
No crack.
No
crack.
No crack.
We like real smoke, no vape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brett, watching you. But no, we'll wrap
Caleb,
this.
Watching you.
I don't vape anymore. I used to.
What's it been? 3 days?
Hey, any progress is progress. We're proud of you.
Thanks. 3 weeks.
Don't ever shame him for only going a couple of days.
Yeah. Johnny comes in here yesterday.
Hitting a vape?
No.
Oh.
He comes in here yesterday. He said, bro, he's like, I stopped drinking. He's like, I got so much shit done. I'm like, oh yeah, how's it been? How long? He's like, 1.5 days. And then he sends me a video that night of him shotgunning a bush apple.
Saw that.
I was like, oh, that was quick. And he's like, yeah. But it was funny. But no, thanks for coming on. We'll wrap this up. We're probably close to an hour, aren't we? Give or take.
Over.
A little over an hour.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It was a good.
See, we didn't even get to finish one.
I know. Wait, see, that's the best part is you can take your time with it.
Long lasting.
Talk, especially when you're talking a bunch too, right?
Yeah.
But
so this is kind of like a little cigar club right here. Is this kind of what it's like then?
We can work that out.
essentially, yeah. I mean, this is what
I was looking at the docks right next door. I don't know.
You could. That's an unused space technically right
and
now.
we could just put a walkway between the two.
and
you know?
the people that own this own that too,
Yeah.
so they might be interested in
I'm
doing something.
all about cool and different spaces.
And it's
you know.
right now they just use it for a little bit of storage, but
Yeah.
it's an open space, so it'd be a cool little spot for it.
And it has the patio area already built into it. So
Yeah. The only thing is it doesn't have,
like,
which
though,
for
to
us it wouldn't matter, but there's no plumbing.
Yeah. So
in
no
it.
bathrooms, no
Right.
nothing like that.
Yeah.
You would just have to bring that in somehow.
There's
Right.
woods right
Put a
over
porta
there.
potty out
Woods. Yeah.
back. That's why you got the back
Right.
loading
Woods
dock
over there,
area.
yeah. Hey, you're fine.
Yeah. But no,
Find a
that was
tree.
good. You want to plug everything? Well, actually, we'll let you plug the Cigar Club and
Sure.
anything else you want to plug real quick,
Sure.
and then we'll close her out.
Sure. Well, like you said, Cambridge Cigar Club. You can find us on Facebook. Actually, the banner pictures the logo, so you'll see that even though it's a private page. Just ask to join. There's a button there to ask to join. Probably if you're from Cambridge, you already know people in the club.
Yeah.
Like I said, we have over 275 members now. And then just a reminder about the August 13th Bourbon and Cigar Night. Call Pritchard Lofton to get your tickets. I think they're running out soon. So
Yeah. Yep.
Well, make sure you guys follow us on Instagram at otr.pod. Make sure you pop over to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, Google Podcasts, whatever.
Anchor. That's the word I couldn't remember earlier.
Whatever area you listen to your podcast on, and that's OTR Cast. We'd really enjoy it if you check us out on YouTube, and that's also OTR Cast.
That is the visual experience. You know,
Yes,
if you're-
that's how you get the
If
whole
you're a
thing.
listener, turn into a viewer and go to YouTube.
You get to see this beautiful face every time.
This one.
Make sure you look up the merch website, which is otrcast.pod.
No, it's otr.shop
Oh yeah. Oh sorry. OTRcast.shop.
Oh.
Man, I was thinking about the Instagram.
You just got corrected by the person who didn't even know it at the beginning.
Cue the outro. Get out of here.
Cue the outro.
Yeah.
And you were just.
This is probably one of my favorite podcasts so far. It's very funny.